We'll start up with our Unix sessions today. We'll be covering the following topics as a part of this course. Like we'll be seeing the directory commands, we'll see the file commands, and we'll be seeing the permissions, and then we'll be seeing the VA editor, that's the built-in editor on the Unix or Linux environments, and we'll be seeing the shell script commands, and we'll also see how to create the how to do the archiving of the files. So we'll be going through the basic Unix commands, which is mainly designed for the DBA. Maybe some of you guys may be going for the Oracle DBA, or some of you guys may be opting as a DB to DBA. So this course is designed in such a way that by going through this course, you will be learning the basics of Unix or Linux administration, which will be helping your career as a database administrator. Is that clear?
Okay.
Okay. So today we will be seeing the introduction about how to connect it to the Unix environment, which are the tools that we can use for connecting to Unix. And then once you logged on to the Unix environment, how to run a command on the Unix environment, and then we'll be seeing how to cleanly exit from a Unix environment. Fine?
Okay. Okay.
So now you are seeing a screen of a PuTTY application which you can download from the internet. PuTTY is basically used for connecting from a Windows machine to a Unix or a Linux environment.
Okay.
Is that clear? So here you can see that there is a host name is there, a port number is there, and different connection types are there. Fine. So host name is the machine, or it can be the machine name of the Unix machine, or else it can be the IP address of the Unix machine. And then port number. Port number by default it is a port number 22, because the port number is coming only because the utility or the connection type what we are using the SSH. Fine. If you are using another connection type as telnet, the port number will be changing. So by default, the SSH, that is the secured shell port number is 22. But what happens is that the secured shell is working as a client and server way. That means the server component of this SSH is running on the, should be running on the machine on which you will be connecting.
Okay.
Am I clear? So at that server, the system administrator would have been designed to run the secured shell or the SSH. Here onwards, we'll be just calling as SSH to be running on the port number 22. If on your server the secured shell is running on a different port number, then you should give that port number to connect to that machine.
Okay.
It may not be 22 at that time, it may be some 80 or 84, something would have been given. So that port number you will be given. Right?
Okay. Yes.
So here we will be seeing how to connect it to the lab environment. For example, we will be seeing how to connect to the Vaishit the lab environment, and the machine name is Vaishit lab.myftp.org. And here we have given the port number is 22. So so we'll be giving the host name as the Vaishit lab myftp.org and port number 22, and then click on open. Fine.
Okay.
So now you can see that you are getting a login prompt. Okay, looks like the screen is a bit less. So what I'll do that I'll just go to right click on the blue area and then change settings and go to appearance. Go to the font settings here, change and make the font settings as 12. Now you can see the bold. Now what I need is that I have to get a username and password. This username and password should be created by the system administrator. So our system administrator has for every in any of the Unix or Linux installation, during the time of the installation, a user called root will be created, and the password of the root will be given at the time of the installation process. We'll be seeing one of our classes how to do the Linux installation. So during that time, the super user has been created, and the super user has created a user called Vaishit. Fine. So the username will be Vaishit, and the password is the password of Vaishit. So it's Vaishit $1. Fine. So we have logged on to the machine. Is that clear?
Okay. Sir, one question. Here, PuTTY is the tool to connect from the Windows to Unix or Linux machine. is that
That's correct.
putty is applicable for all the operating system or only from the Windows to Linux?
See, PuTTY is basically a tool which is helping us to connect from Windows to Linux. But if you wanted to connect from Linux to Linux, then or Unix operating system to another Unix operating system, then that operating system has a built-in tool already. For example, say I'm already there on a server called Vaishid server 2. Okay, let's try to connect it to another machine which is on this network itself. So there, I'm just giving, first we'll see whether the machine is active by giving the command ping Vaishid 11G R90. Okay, that looks like the machine is down. So let's see another IP address. Okay, fine. Here the hostname may not be there. We'll just give the IP address and see 10.17.57.190. Okay, the machine is responding to our ping. You can get that. When I give the ping, then the IP address it is responding, telling that it's able to ping to that machine with the 1.91 milliseconds, and the second attempt to could connect with the 0.04 milliseconds. So that means the machine is alive. Now, how to connect to that machine? By giving the command SSH, then the username as I'm connecting us to that machine as root user @ the IP address. That's 10.17.57.119. Okay, it's asked the password. I'm giving the password and I connect it to that machine.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes. Do we need to connect through root user or any user also?
No. If you have, say, normally companies will not be allowing to connect as root user. Every user should be having their own username and password. It is a system administrator who is going to create the users. We'll see one of the sessions. We'll be see how to create a user. For the time being, just assume that we have created, or the super user has been created a user, and we are connecting with that user.
Okay.
In this case, Vaishid 11G R19 or 10.17.57.119, I do have the root privilege, so I just connected us with the root user.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. And answering to your question, is there any other tools or how will be other operating systems? So we have seen how to connect from a Linux machine to another Linux machine, how to connect it. Okay. And if you are considering another operating system, say Mac operating system, the Mac operating system will be having their own another tool which will be helping from helping a user from connecting to from a Mac machine to another Linux machine.
So PuTTY won't be useful for Mac machines.
May not be useful. So exactly, if we wanted to know, like we may have to go to that PuTTY's web page, or else we may have to use go through the documentation for that one. But definitely, any operating system will be having a tool, mostly known as SSH. They are all known as SSH tool. Okay, secure shell tool. That tools may be helping from that operating system to connect to the different operating system. I mean, from that operating system to the Unix operating system. For example, if you are connecting from an Android operating system, there is a built-in tool Android SSH tool, which will help the Android operating system built-in. I mean, any of the smartphone or maybe a tablet. From that smartphone, you will be able to connect it to a Unix machine.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, along with that one, we'll be seeing for the time being, we'll be seeing how to connect. Say now we connected to that machine, right? Say we don't have a graphical interface. You are just seeing a command line interface only. What if you wanted to connect it to a graphical interface? For that, there is another tool known as NX client. Fine. The NX client is also you can download from the internet. Just go to www.nomachine.com. You will be able to download it. So once you download, go ahead.
This NX client is used for Windows to Linux or Linux to Linux?
NX client is supporting from Linux to Linux, as well as Linux to Solaris, as well as Windows to Linux or Windows to Solaris.
Okay. So now we are connecting from the Windows machine to Linux using the NX, right?
NX client, yeah.
Or from the Linux to Linux using the NX client.
No, from Windows to Linux. Mostly Linux to Linux. There are different tools. Apart from the NX client, there are different tools are there. But why we are going to use the NX client from Windows to Linux is that when we are doing the in our next classes or further classes, we'll be seeing how to install Oracle software or DB2 software from Windows machine. So at that time, we may require the graphical interface. So that's the reason we are concentrating on how to connect it to a Linux machine using the NX client.
Okay.
Fine?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me just open the NX client for you. Are you able to see that NX client machine? Fine. So you can see that we have a NX client window is there. Here the configure, there is one option to configure is there. If you're just clicking, there is a host name we are providing and the port number is 22. Can you see this one?
Yes.
So the same, it is for any machine, if you wanted to connect from Windows to Linux environment, the concept is the same thing. You need to have a host name and a port number and a username and password. Fine?
Okay.
So here we can see that I have on the configuration, I have given the Vaishit lab.myftp.org and username is Vaishit and the password I'm just giving. Okay, this is you are getting an unlock screen because the screen was locked for a long time. Fine. Now you must be seeing this screen now. Now you can see that a graphical interface here, the desktop of the Unix machine to which you have connected.
Okay.
You can see that there is a computer icon, there is one trash windows and everything. So here, the advantage is that, say, suppose I just opened a terminal, and if I wanted to execute any graphical command, I'll be able to. For example, I just type the X clock, and you are getting a clock over here.
Okay.
So any software installation, you know that in Windows environment also, when you want to install a software installation, you wanted to get the graphical interface. That's why we are connecting to that lab environment using a graphical interface utility.
With command line, we can't do the software installation?
No, say for example, let's come back to the command line. Okay, so here you have seen that we have got a X clock, right? Now let's issue the same command here. You are getting that cannot open the display.
No, we can't see the.
Okay, okay, sorry. Now are you able to see?
Yes.
Yeah, now you are able to see that putty interface, right? Now let's just issue the command X clock. You are getting a mirror message that cannot open the display.
Okay.
So any software installation, there are multiple ways. So for example, even the Oracle software also, you can do it on the non-graphical method. But any graphical method installation, that means the graphical method installation, especially when the program is accepting or looking for the users to provide some inputs. For example, the place at which the software is getting installed.
Okay.
So these inputs can be obtained only from if that has to be obtained from the user. Then that window should be telling like the user telling the user to type the location of this path where the software is getting installed. For all that things, you need a graphical interface. So the thumb rule is that if you wanted to do the anything using a graphical interface, go with a utility which is supporting the graphical interface. For example, NX client is one of the tools.
Okay. So with this command line utility, we can't do the this one Oracle installation.
No, it's not like that. Oracle installation can be done with the command line also. That time it is known as the non-graphical method of the installation, or also known as a silent mode installation.
Okay. So still
okay.
we will be asked the question and we'll be giving the inputs through the command line.
No, command line, it will not be prompting anything for the user.
Okay.
You have to provide all the answers in a file known as the response file, and you have to provide it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so we'll come to that one. But for the point here is that if you want a graphical interface installation, then you should have an environment which is supporting the graphical interface. For example, it is an NX client. You must connect it to the NX client using the NX client to the server. And also, as I explained for the SSH, I told like there should be a server component there. The same way for the NX client also, the NX server should be up and running there. Then only you'll be able to connect.
Okay.
That means your system administrator should have installed or downloaded the NX server software and installed the NX server software on the machine to which you are connecting.
Okay. Even this NX client or PuTTY, for that SSH is supporting.
Yeah, SSH is mandatory. Both are connecting using a secured way of connecting to the server. That is known as SSH connectivity.
So in both the cases, the port number remains 22.
Yeah, both the cases, for example, let's issue the command ps-ef pipe grep SSH. Okay, here you can see that there is a process called user bin SSH. Just one second. Yeah, can you see the first process?
Yes.
User/SSH. So this process, you can see that this has been started, and you can see that it has been started quite long, October 6. So if this process is not there, then nobody can connect to using the SSH connectivity.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes.
The same way, if you're ps-ef pipe grep NX server. Here you can see that there is another utility known as the NX server.
Okay.
Fine. This NX server is already running there. That's the reason you are able to connect it to you are connected to the machine using the NX client. So the server component is run, but NX server internally is allowing the connection using the SSH utility.
Okay. SSH is a protocol for the connection.
That's correct.
Okay. So this NX server as well as the PuTTY, everything using the SSH.
SSH,
Okay.
yes. If this process called SSHD, the first process you have seen, right,
Yes.
which is started user SBIN SSHD. If the system administrator has shut down this SSHD or SSHD is not running due to some reason, then nobody will be able to connect to that server using the SSH protocol.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
So now we'll for the time being we'll leave the graphical interface and we'll come to here. Okay. So when a user logs on to a Linux or Unix machine, he will be automatically landing to the home directory of that machine, of that user. That means for every user, whenever a user is being created, there is a home directory is there. A home directory is a place where a user got the complete privilege. Maybe it may be creating the file or deleting the file or executing the file. For anything, he got the complete privilege. That is known as a home directory.
Okay.
Fine. For example, in Windows, you would have been like in Windows, when you are trying to save, it will be automatically showing that you do want to save it on My Documents, because My Documents is the place where the user got the complete privilege. The same way in Unix also, the location where he got the complete privilege to create or save a file is known as the home directory. So when a user connecting through a command line, he will be automatically kind of landing to the home directory for that particular user.
Okay. Okay.
So home directory is that you just type the letter CD and press enter key. You will be wherever you are there. You will be automatically coming to the home directory. And home directory can be listed by. I mean, once you come back to the home directory, if you want to see that one, you just type pwd stands for the present working directory. Now you can see that the home directory is home/Vaishit.
Okay.
Fine. Now you are in a home directory. You wanted to once you are now you are into the command prompt and you are on the home directory, right? Now you can execute any command from that command line prompt. For example, I just issue the command date. I'm getting the date part.
Okay.
Fine. Now another thing, say you wanted to get more different options for that particular any command. You can use the man utility. Man stands for manual pages. Man space date. You will be getting the lot of explanations for that particular command.
I didn't understand what is the man. Why we
Man stands for the man pages or manual pages.
what is the use of that? Why we require?
say for example, just take out an example. Say I'm just issuing the command ls. Okay, ls stands for list. It is listing the contents of my home directory or the the user home directory. But this now I'm not able to exactly notice whether it's a directory or it's a. I'm just seeing it's a desktop, but not able to understand whether it's a directory or it's a file or anything, right? But if I'm giving ls-l, now it give me more detail in output telling that the date at which it is created, the user who created, and on the left side you can see there is a D letter, which stands for it's a directory.
Okay.
Fine. So this I'm able to give get only because I have given a switch to that ls command by giving the command ls-l or an option to that ls command. So how will be knowing what are the different options? Only the way is that you go through the help of that command. That help utility or the built-in help utility is known as man.
Okay.
So if I give man space ls, it gives me the different options. It gives me what is that command. Okay, list the directory contents, and then the syntax is that ls space options. And what are the different options? You are getting that complete list here.
Okay, ls-a, ls-b.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So different stuff. So it may be like say what I'm telling you as a DBA, you cannot by heart all that every different options of all the commands. Okay, it can be obtained by you can just give the built-in utility and just give man and then command. Then you will be getting the different options for that one.
Okay.
And based on your requirement, you have to use that different options.
Okay. Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes.
So anyway, we will be seeing most of the daily required utility, daily required commands in further of our classes. But remember that the man utility is built-in available with any operating system. I mean, any Unix operating system. So if you know that command, but you don't know the switches or you don't know what are the different syntax of executing, you have the built-in help is there. That's by man utility.
Okay.
Right now. Say we have just seen how to log on to server, how to execute a command, and how to get help about a command. Now we'll see how to cleanly exit from the session. Okay, to exit will be either you can use the quit command or you can just issue the exit command.
What's the difference between two? Why?
No, that is two different commands are there. Both are doing the same output. But here the point here is that say you can exit even just closing your putty session also.
Okay.
Okay, but that is not the right way of exiting. The reason is that whenever you are running some commands or whenever you are doing something, there must be some log files or some log would have been created by your session. So if you're just clicking on the close button or the undo button, that logs would not have been released by the operating system.
Okay.
So the neat way of disconnecting from a Unix environment is that either use quit or use the exit.
Okay. Both the command does same function.
Both the commands does the same thing, but that will be supported by, there are something called shells are there, which I'll be explaining in the later classes. All the shells may not be supporting all the commands. For example, the ls command ls command is supported by our current shell environment, but certain shells may not be supporting the ls command. So whether the quit will be working or the exit will be working based on the shell, but we are working on a shell known as a bash shell, which will be supporting all this commands. So don't worry about the shell commands right now. We'll be seeing that what is a shell and how to work on different shells in one of our coming classes.
Okay.
Fine. So now to have a smooth exit, just type exit.
Okay.
Now I disconnect from my Unix session. Is that clear?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Now, in the next classes, in the further classes, we'll be seeing more detailed about how to create directory, how to work with the directory. Today's the session, our intention was that just give a brief idea how to connect to a Unix machine and do some commands on that one, get a help, and how to exit neatly from a Unix session.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.